Hola amigas! Welcome to episode number 4. 4. As you can see, the title is Yo Perreo Sola. So I'm gonna talk about my recent singleness by describing grief. Because I recently I finally understand grief and the stages of it. And I have been single for a year, and so let me try to remember. A year and 8 months. A year and 8 months. Yeah, a year and 8 months. And I've been divorced for 2 months. And oh my god, and I'm gonna go on 3 months and 9 months. Oh my god. I just realized that. I'm sorry. I'm a little excited because looking back, my relationship was on and off for basically the entire time that I was in that relationship. And but besides, and I could have I tried leaving so many times. I left a couple times but came back. It's just been a mess. But this is the longest that I've stayed away. The prior to that, I believe the longest was 6 months. So I'm kind of excited and happy for myself. So yeah, this I feel like this episode is meant for you if you're recently single, or if you know someone who's single and is going through it, because it fucking sucks. It took me until now to finally understand this, and I feel better. I feel good right now. I don't know how long that's gonna last, because when you're in your healing time stage, whatever, it's not linear. So there are periods where I'm fuck yeah, I feel great, this is amazing. But then there are periods where I'm just feeling down all the time. Maybe I'm sad, depressed, stuff like that. So I feel right now I'm in my hell yeah stage. So hopefully it lasts long. No, not hopefully. I feel it will, because therapy helps me so much with the things that I'm going through. So I know I'll be fine. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about grief. But I guess I can give a quick backstory. So I was in Mexico. I went to Mexico for 2 weeks. It was the end of July and then the beginning of August when I was gone. And then but before I left to Mexico, I had a therapy session, and I had that session on August 8th. Was it August 8th? Yeah, August 8th. And then usually, so when I first started therapy, I would do once a week therapy sessions, but now I'm doing once every 2 weeks. So when it was time to schedule, I was when I was talking to my therapist, I was damn, I'm gonna be in Mexico during that time. I would love to schedule something, but I'm just I don't know, if I'm gonna be busy or whatever. So we just decided to schedule myself when I got back. So when I got back, my session was on August. Where the fuck is the August calendar? August 8th. And that's the therapy session that kind of put everything together for me. And ever since that session, I feel good. Yeah, like I've been sad a couple times, but it's not like I'm sad and like I get over it. So yeah, just like ever since that session, like I just like I told like I had therapy on the 22nd, I believe. Was that last week? Yeah, that was last week. That was my last session, and like I told my therapist, I was like, since our last session, like I feel like things are starting to make sense for me. Like that was like my wake up call session, and that's like when I finally like understood like, you know, what grief is, because like I kept hearing about grief since I left my relationship, since like I started therapy, like I've been hearing about it, but like I just like it didn't like click like what it meant or what it is until like recently. Um so yeah, I went to Mexico, and then like when I was in Mexico, like um I like it was like the last week that I was there, like my ex reached out to me, and like I just had like a horrible time for like a couple of days because of like cause he reached out, and but I was fine because like I have the tools. Like I think I was only so he had reached out, like I believe like it was like a Sunday, and then that day like I was like done, like I was feeling shitty like the entire day. Monday I didn't really think about it that much, but then like again Tuesday, like I started like thinking about it again, and then but then like I stopped myself, like I told myself like, hey, like what's going on, like I talked to myself, I did like my therapy techniques, and then I also recorded it too because I wanted I've been following a lot of um a lot of people who are currently healing right now, and I've noticed that what they do is that like they'll post videos of themselves when they're going through like a rough time, and like that helps, like watching that like has helped me so much. So like I've been doing that like anytime, like usually like when I want like my me time and like to think about things, like I go on like long drives, or like even like on my way home from work or like something, like if I feel like if I'm having like a difficult time, like I will record what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. So I've been doing that recently, but that was like the first time that I recorded like myself and like my whole face and everything, because usually it's just like I put my phone down and like I start talking. um I did that, and maybe I will post it. I think I will post it. I'll post it, like it'll probably play like after this video, or maybe not, I don't know. I'm shy. um so okay, so yeah, he reached out. I was having a tough time, whatever. So then I talked about it when I got home and like my therapy session, and that's like when my therapist talked about grief again. And then like I'm just like, I don't know, I was just like, oh fuck, I get it. um so I'll get started. So I have an article. I will obviously like I'll post the link so that you can take a look at it. If you have, you know, if you're recently single, if you're not and just want to learn, or if you know someone who's recently single, like um maybe like tell them to watch this video because like it fucking sucks. It like it sucks. It sucks so much because like one thing, it was like I was always like hold on. um I was mad at myself in the beginning because I just kept thinking like I should have left so many times ago. I ignored so many red flags, and I'm just like, I remember like being so mad at myself because I'm just like, why didn't I listen to myself? Like I know better. But now, what, like, how I look at it is like, no, like, I needed to go through those times to like learn um what it is that I want to learn, you know. Like, I just had to experience, like, I had to experience that to like get me to where I am at now. um so yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. And like, um so yeah, like, I was just like mad at myself, and then like I'm just like telling myself like, no, like, why, like, I shouldn't be mad. Like, I went through it. It was an life experience, and then just like, I'm not gonna go through that again. It's not gonna happen. um so let me get started with like grief. And then I'll just read this entire article, just because it's helpful. And then, like, if you ever have questions or anything, obviously reach out. Um, okay. So, if you or a loved one is dealing with loss, it can be helpful to learn more about the grieving process. Here we share the 5 stages of grief, along with a few ways to help someone who is grieving after a death or breakup. And then that's the other thing, like, when we think about grief, we only think about it being like, losing a loved one because of death. But no, grief also happens like after like losing a relationship. And it's not even just like a romantic relationship with like a partner or something. It's also like a friend relationship. It's a family member maybe that you lost. Like, that's you still losing someone, and that's you still going through grief. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be like a breakup. It can just be losing anyone in general. Maybe like a terrible friend, or like a terrible family, relative, whatever. Okay. So it's important to remember that the grieving process can be complex, and it isn't the same for everyone. These steps may not be followed exactly, or other feelings may surface after you thought you were through the stages of grieving. Allowing room to experience grief in your own way can help you heal after loss. So what are the 5 stages? The 5 stages of grief is a theory developed by psychiatrist Elizabeth. She's German, so Kubler-Ross. I don't know how to. Okay. It suggests that we go through 5 distinct. As you guys already seen, like, I don't know, I can't pronounce words. Through 5 distinct stages after the loss of a loved one. The stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. So the first stage, denial. In the first stage of the grieving process, denial helps us to minimize the overwhelming pain of loss. As we process the reality of our loss, we are also trying to survive emotional pain. It can be hard to believe we have lost an important person in our lives, especially when we have just spoken with them in the previous week or even the previous days. Like with me, like, I was in this relationship for like 11 years, like, so it was like obviously like hard for me, and like I was like very hard on myself in the beginning, because I was like, a lot of times I was like fuck, like, am I making the right decision? Like, should I be working on this even more? Like, stuff like that. And it's like, and that's what therapy has helped me to realize, like, you know, answering those types of questions. Okay, so during this stage, grieving, our reality has shifted completely. It can take our minds time to adjust to our new reality. We reflect on the experiences we've shared with the person we lost, and we might find ourselves wondering how to move forward in life without this person. This is a lot of information to explore, and a lot of painful imagery to process. Denial attempts to slow this process down and takes us through it one step at a time, rather than risk the potential of feeling overwhelmed by our emotions. Denial is not only an attempt to pretend that the loss does not exist. we are also trying to absorb and understand what is happening. Anger, the second stage in grieving is anger. We are trying to adjust to a new reality and are likely experiencing extreme emotional discomfort. There is so much to process that anger may feel like it allows us an emotional outlet. Keep in mind that anger does not require us to be very vulnerable. However, it may feel more socially acceptable than admitting we are scared. Anger allows us to express emotion with less fear of judgment or rejection. Anger also tends to be the first thing we feel when starting to release emotions related to loss. This can leave us feeling isolated in our experience. It can also cause us to be perceived as unapproachable by others in moments when we could benefit from comfort, connection, and reassurance. Bargaining. When coping with loss, it isn't unusual to feel so desperate that you are willing to do anything to alleviate or minimize the pain. During this stage in grieving, you may try to bargain to change the situation, agreeing to do something in return for being relieved of your pain, of the pain you feel. When bargaining starts to take place, we often direct our requests to a higher power or something bigger than us that may be able to influence a direct income. Bargaining during the grieving process can come in the form of a variety of promises, including, God, if you can heal this person, I can turn my life around. I promise to be better if you let this person live. I'll never get angry again if you can stop him or her from dying or leaving me. This is an acute awareness. This is an acute awareness of our humanness in the stages of grieving. When we realize that there is nothing we can do to influence change or create a better end result. Bargaining comes from a feeling of helplessness and gives us a perceived sense of control over something that feels so out of our control. During bargaining, we tend to focus on our personal faults or regrets. We might look back at interactions with the person we are losing and know all the times we felt discomfort or may have caused them pain. It is common to recall times when we have said things we do not mean and wish we could go back and behave differently. We also sometimes make the drastic assumption that if things had played out differently, we would not be in such an emotional, painful place in our lives. Yeah, I remember going through this. I hate this. Healing sucks. It doesn't suck, but like the stuff that you go through, it's like, so that was bargaining. Depression. Wait, let me drink some water first. Depression. During our experience of processing grief, there comes a time when our imaginations calm down and we slowly start to look at the reality of our present situation. Bargaining no longer feels like an option and we are faced with what is happening. In this stage of grieving, we start to feel the loss of our loved one more. We feel the loss of our loved one more. Our panic begins to subside, the emotional fog begins to clear, and the loss feels more present and unavoidable. In these moments, we tend to pull inward as the sadness grows. We might find ourselves retreating, being less sociable, and reaching out less to others about what we're going through. Although this is a very natural stage in the grieving process, dealing with depression after loss of a loved one can be extremely isolating and one of the most difficult stages. If you or a loved one are struggling with depression, contact the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration National Hotline. And then I'll give that to you all. It's 1-800-662-4357. And yeah, like going through depression after a breakup, like it sucks. Like I just remember, and like with grieving, like you don't have to, like it's not like first you go through, what is it again? It's not like you first go through denial, anger, and then bargaining and then depression. It's like it hits you differently. So for me, like depression hit me really bad. Like I isolated myself. I stopped talking to a lot of people. um, what else? I was alone for a long time, and that's the time when like I wasn't in therapy, and I just like that time, like it sucks. It was terrible. Like I'm smiling about it now because like I just feel so much better now, but like during during that time, like it was just it was terrible. Like so like if you're going through this, like, or you know someone that's going through this, like um it sucks, and I feel your pain. But just figure out what you want to do, like, and just like take your time, like let yourself be depressed. Don't hate yourself for being depressed. Don't hate yourself for being angry. Just let it happen. Things will fall in their place, and you hopefully you'll eventually feel better, because I feel better right now. So yeah, that was depression. Sorry. Thinking about it, like it kind of like wants to like, it brings me back to like just like I feel like I feel bad for myself for like what a terrible time I was going through, and like just like having basically no one during that time. But it's okay, because I like I said, I feel better now. I have literally like the friends that I have now, like I love them so much, like I hold them so close to me, like, and it's not that many, like it's less than like 10 friends, and that's like I'm happy with that. Like I don't need more than that. um it would be nice to have more friends, but like for what? Like I am happy with the friends that I have now. um and like the connections that we've made together, and like the time that we've spent, like it means so much to me now. Like now that like I'm in a better like mindset, like when like I hang out with my friends, like it's just like I'm just like aware of like everything now. Like I feel like back then, like I was just like in a fog, living like in a fog, I guess. So like now, like um and like I'm like making, like not only like am I making connections with them, but like I'm meeting their families, like I'm learning new things. And it's just like I appreciate that so much right now, more than like before. So like rely on your friends. If you're going through this, it's hard, because like even me, like I've always had an issue with like talking about the things that I go through. So like I'm never like, I can always say like reach out to me like if you ever need anything, but I never reach out to anyone if I ever need anything. And like that's changing for me. Like I'm learning that I can, rely on my friends. um and I do more. um So that was depression. Acceptance. The last of the 5 stages of grief is acceptance. When we come to a place of acceptance, it's not that we no longer feel the pain or loss. Instead, we are no longer resisting the reality of our situation. We are not struggling to make it something different. Sadness and regret can still be present in this phase, but the emotional survival tactics of denial, bargaining, and anger are less likely to be present during this phase of grieving. And yeah, that's me now. Like I've accepted this. Um, like one thing that like would get to me a lot is like when my ex reaches out, like he would always say like, think about the good times, like we can do this, and like stuff like that. And then like I go back to thinking about the good times, and then like I just like cry, because I'm just like, fuck, like good times. But now, like what I see it as, like when I think about the good times, like now I just like I'll laugh, or like I'll smile, like at them. um because like, yeah, like we went through, like we also went through good times, and I'm always gonna hold those good times. You see, this is what healing is. um so yeah, like when I think about the good times now, like I just like smile and say like, yeah, that was a good time. And like I'm not like before where I'd be like, damn, like that was a good time, like why couldn't we like continue to have like good times, like why couldn't there be more of that, like should like I have done things differently, and like now like I don't think about that stuff anymore, like I just like smile um or laugh, whatever it is that I'm thinking about. So yeah, as you can see, it sucks, but it's also like I feel better. um and this article is like long, so there's like so much more, but like I said, I will provide this for you all, so if you want to take a look at it, read it. Let me see if there's anything else that I can just read before. Did I read this? No. So how long does grief how long do grief stages last? There is no specific time period for any of these stages. One person may experience these stages quickly, such as in a matter of weeks, whereas another person may take months or even years to move through the stages of grieving. Whatever time it takes for you to move through these stages is perfectly normal. As we consider the 5 stages of grief, it is important to note that people grieve differently. So you may or may not go through each of these stages or experience them in an order. The lines of the grieving process stages are often blurred. We may also move from one stage to another and possibly back again before moving into a new stage. Your pain is unique to you. Your relationship to the person you lost is unique, and the emotional processing can feel different to each person. Take the time that you need and remove any expectations of how you should be performing as you work through the grieving process. So yeah, I hope this article helps. Because like I said, like I finally get it now, and it took me this long to get it. And I don't know how I'm gonna feel tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks from now, next month, but that's why I'm in therapy, to help me get through all of this. So yeah, and I think I will post that, like I will include the video of when I was in Mexico to help, because that wasn't that long ago. So like I hope like by me doing that, like if you're going through it right now, like it gives you like the motivation to not like be so hard on yourself, and just feel what you're feeling. It sucks, but just do it. Just get it over with now. And okay, I'm just gonna say bye now. I feel like this is good. And then yeah, I guess I will add that video if I can. I'll find a way to add it, like it'll play like after this. If you don't see it playing after this, it's because I couldn't do it. So I will find another way to post that video, so you all can see. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. Hopefully this helps if you're grieving. And like I said, like if you're currently single, just take your time with it. Don't feel like you have to get into a relationship right away. Take this time to get to know yourself, get to know what you like, what you don't like. Be patient with yourself, because like I said, like I know what I want. I know it's gonna take some time to find what I want, and when I find it, like, it's gonna feel like amazing. um I'm gonna, like, I know I'm gonna be so happy, and I just can't wait for that to happen to for me. So I'm not rushing for it. Like, I'm gonna take my time because I can't wait for that. And yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this didn't really like trigger anyone. I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to cry. Well, I'm sorry. Like, so never apologize for what you feel. So ignore that I just apologized. Um, but yeah, I hope this helps. And if, like I said, if you're going through it, just rely on your girls, rely on your family, rely on, ask for help. It's hard, I know, but like, just do it. Because you never know like how much power, you know, other people's words are. And like, I want to thank like all my amigas who like have helped me, who have helped me out through like everything that I've been going through. um I like I said, like, I just like isolated myself for like a while, so like the friendships that I have now, like, I appreciate them so much. And yeah. You see, I keep, like, I say bye and then I keep talking. But okay, bye. I gotta figure out how to fit that other video into this. But thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you have questions, need help with anything, like, I'm here. And I have an idea for the next episode. I don't know. I don't know, like, if it's gonna be like, no, I don't know. Cause like, I'm gonna do it, but like, hopefully, like, it doesn't gross people out. I don't think it will. But okay, thank you so much for joining me. Bye, everyone.